Article 3. Definitions. When defining words used in the Unanimous Declaration of the United States of America, a dictionary available for common use, printed several years prior to the proposal and signing of the contract, reveals what the words meant to the signing generation. Applying this practice to the content of any prior constitutions and amendments reveals what the generation at that time expected the content to mean. How certain members of society and government officers practiced and or abused the content is irrelevant when determining the Charter's actual meaning and intent. The following definitions apply in such manner as to amend prior enacted laws. They also apply to laws enacted hereafter. Consistency throughout all government levels and branches assures the people of equality and justice no matter where they travel within these United States of America. All laws prior to this Constitution's ratification date that are not reinstated in accord with the terms of this Constitution within 2 years must be unenforceable and void of power. This is as though they were actively and openly repealed, which ends outdated and unconstitutional activity. All laws reinstated must fully comply with this Constitution's Article 4, Section 6, and receive a date of reinstatement as well as an expiration date, without which it naturally dies, being unenforceable. Any person jailed or otherwise incarcerated for having violated a law that, when modified, would have freed that person from that crime, that individual must be released from that sentence. But this does not touch any other penalties where that person was duly convicted of violating a law that the governed people reinstate in accord with the terms of this Constitution's Article 4, Section 6. Section 1. Crime. A crime is the violation of any constitutionally authorized government activity, regardless of how minor or severe the action or the penalty. For clarity, it is not a crime, and it is not a punishable act to violate any law or other government action that this Constitution has not specifically authorized. Section 2. Citizen. See also resident. A citizen is any person born of a mother who is already a lawful citizen of any of these United States of America, or naturalizes. The birth mother is easily proved during birth, than is the biological father, when determining the citizenship of the newborn child. The biological father's name may be added at that birth family's personal expense of DNA testing at an authorized citizenship testing facility. This topic can become complicated with medical technology in cases where neither the egg nor the sperm came from lawful citizens. For the purpose here, the birth mother's citizenship determines the automatic citizenship of the child, no matter the country where the child is born. Section 3. Contract. A contract, as used in this Constitution, includes the lawful written chain of authority. The foundation for all government action, as it relates to these United States of America, originates with the Unanimous Declaration of the United States of America. The nation's Constitution, the 2020 Founding Charter and Constitution for the United States of America, is the umbrella constitution for all government levels and branches in these United States of America. All laws and all other constitutions respective to the smaller political jurisdictions, including federal, state, county, as well as cities and towns, are subject to this Constitution. Each group or smaller political jurisdiction, with 2/3 of their total number, possesses authority to regulate the powers of each larger political jurisdiction, detailed in this Constitution's Article 4, legislative powers. Parties to private contracts may waive rights or parts thereof, as specified in the contract, where certain constitutional laws offer greater protection. This form of rights waiver applies only to the signers. The rights waived cannot bind any heirs or others assigned to the contract unless they too choose to waive constitutional protection by signing that contract. Notaries must witness signatures of all signers of contracts, whether public or private, which also includes all ballots, thus affirming that each signer has personally read and comprehends the terms of the contract in order for that contract to be enforced in a constitutional court of law. Section 4. Enemy. Foreign enemy, domestic enemy. A domestic enemy is a citizen who votes or passes a law that violates the Declaration or the Constitution, or votes for the lesser of evils. Law enforcement officers who enforce unconstitutional orders or unconstitutional laws are domestic enemies. Judges, juries, and lawyers who do not allow this Constitution or the unanimous declaration in the trial to prove a law unconstitutional also are domestic enemies. A foreign enemy is a government, business, or individual. It is not a United States American, whether or not they have a base of operations anywhere within these United States of America, its territories, or possessions, and violates the peace, well-being, and safety of the citizens within the geographical boundaries of these United States of America, and or interferes with our elections, whether or not they have openly declared war against these United States. Section 5. Impartial. With respect to the impartial jury, both or all parties of the suit must participate in selecting the entire pool from which the final jury is selected. Such original selection of the larger panel might include throwing darts at a list of resident citizens in the political jurisdiction, or as simple as going outside the courthouse or other public place to select the required larger pool from random people on the street, whether citizen or not. Citizenship, residency, or even whether or not a person has registered as a voter must not exclude a person from serving on a jury. Only whether both parties can agree as to whether that person is impartial with respect to the trial at hand. Section 6. Legislation. Legislation is the written record by which the citizen residents fund the constitutional government, regulate the activity, property, and finances of the people who unjustly infringe upon the rights of others, to punish those for violating the rights or the property of others, as well as stop political powers by amending this Constitution as needed, or by repealing or amending any law that fails constitutional tests. This also includes the creation of government projects, programs, and enterprise funds in accord with the unanimous declaration, as well as ways to promote and encourage people to be beneficially productive in their communities. Section 7. People, person, governed people. People or person refers only to a flesh and blood biological human. As individuals, they are referred to as the governed, the governed people. The unified body of the governed resident citizens, as detailed in this Constitution, is the sovereign authority responsible for controlling their respective government level and branch. Section 8. Political jurisdiction. A political jurisdiction is the geographical land area that a government office and level of government serves, and the powers of that government in accord with this Constitution. The city, town, or village wherein a person maintains their permanent lawful voting residence is the smallest political jurisdiction. Counties, states, and national unions are progressively larger political jurisdictions. Section 9. Public Trust. The public trust consists of the unanimous Declaration of the United States of America, the 2020 Founding Charter and Constitution for the United States of America, the respective state constitutions, county constitutions, and city and town constitutions, all legislation that the citizens enact in accord with the supreme law of the land. Additionally, the public trust includes campaign promises the official made while campaigning, so long as those promises do not violate the named constitutions or laws made in pursuance thereof. This does not authorize the elected officer to implement those promises as manifest destiny or voter mandates until authorized by appropriate constitutional authority in accord with the Declaration. Section 10. Representative. As detailed in the Declaration, a representative is one who acts in the name and by the authority of the good people. In an effort to reduce political corruption and to reduce the cost of government, the governed people are their own direct, bicameral legislative branch. Representatives include persons elected into the executive and judicial offices, as well as others with whom elected officials appoint, hire, or contract with to perform work authorized by constitutional legislation. All those who represent the people willingly bind themselves by oath, whether physically administered, publicly, or not, to uphold, support, and defend this Constitution against foreign and domestic enemies, as well as the other named contracts in the defense of the governed people and their rights. This also includes protecting the rights of foreign visitors within this Constitution's jurisdiction. Foreigners in these United States of America possess no rights of citizenship, such as voting, land ownership or control, and other similar rights that may influence government representatives contrary to this Constitution. Section 11. Resident Citizen. A resident citizen of these United States of America is a person who is lawfully a citizen of the United States of America and a citizen of one of the states in this union where they maintain their sole lawful voting residency for more than 3 consecutive calendar years, and from where, as a lawful citizen, they cast all ballots. Section 12. Speedy. With respect to the timing of trials, speedy refers to as soon as the government accuses or arrests someone of a crime or seizes property. With any of these actions, the government admits that they possess sufficient evidence to obtain an impartial jury's verdict. If the defense is ready that day for trial, to prove the government acted against the Constitution, the impartial jury trial must take place that same day. Otherwise, in order for the government to hold any person in jail until trial for any type of crime, a grand jury must state reasons for the incarceration, as well as the limited time the person can be held until trial, which must not exceed 3 days. Section 13. Treason. Treason consists of offenses against this Constitution or against the other contracts specifically named herein as the supreme law of the land. The contracts represent a public trust between the governed people and their government officers. Betrayal of this public trust is treason. Section 14. Tyrant. Tyranny. Tyranny or tyrant is any government officer or political office that exercises one or more of the actions that the unanimous Declaration of the United States of America identified as characteristic marks of tyranny and despotism. Tyrant and tyranny may also be defined as one who violates any part of this Constitution or the other contracts specifically named in this Constitution as the supreme law of the land.